Let's talk now to Harry Wilkinson, Director of Policy at Net Zero Watch, because unfortunately, as we approach the Christmas season, the lights are going out all over the country. Harry, what's going on?
Well, it seems, unfortunately, doesn't it, that the more important a service that's relied upon to keep people safe, the more that councils and our public servants don't seem to want to provide it. They want to do fashionable net zero green things instead. And so we have this council threatening to switch the lights off. What impact will this have on safety, women's safety in particular, who rely on the lights to feel safe at night? And they're going to have to dim these lights because they've made a mess of the finances. You still see jobs like net zero coordinator, £70,000, all this wasteful spending, and yet they can't seem to do the basic things right.
Exactly right. This is Lambeth Council in South London, who owe apparently £1 billion. They're in debt to the tune of £1 billion, and they're saying that in order to try and save some money, they need to switch the lights off at night. We hear Keir Starmer go on all the time, don't we, about, it's very important to have safety for women and girls, and that's going to be one of our top priorities. Well, sending the lights out in Lambeth, I can tell you, is not a very good idea for the safety of women and girls, because some of the parts of Lambeth, I wouldn't want to go down with the lights on.
And you look at what's happened in Lambeth Council, it's a complete disgrace. They've wasted so much money over the years that they've got in this huge debt situation. And so they're also putting up parking charges up astronomically. People are going to have to pay huge amounts just to park their car by their own house.
Right.
And just ordinary living is being made more expensive for everyone because of the incompetence of these councils.
Right.
And so I feel like they're hiding behind green ideology to disguise the fact that they're just making a mess of the basic services that they should be providing for people in Lambeth.
Well, some of the figures that have come out this week alone from Lambeth Council have been extraordinary. The council pays up to 40 members of staff salaries of £100,000 or more. There's a Director of Climate and Inclusive Growth who's on £160,000. The council has also spent more than £25 million on climate and active travel initiatives since 2019, and these include low traffic neighbourhoods, cycle lanes, net zero ambitions to deliver pledges by 2030, which is 20 years earlier than the actual national target. It's extraordinary, isn't it? I mean, the trouble with these little tin pot organisations is that they've sort of overstretched what they're meant to do, haven't they? I mean, it's not for Lambeth Council to save the planet. It's for Lambeth Council to save Lambeth, surely.
Well, it's striking, isn't it, that these small little councils think that they can save the world. I've been getting letters from the various parties in the past who are campaigning for the vote to be their local councillor for me here in Southwark, that, they want to declare a climate emergency. That's now happened, and they want their focus as a council to be on climate. I don't think people want that. People want their basic services to be provided. And these councillors now seem to have such a grand opinion of themselves that they're going to be ending the climate emergency from Southwark or from Lambeth or from wherever it is.
Yeah, saving the world one street at a time from Elephant and Castle. I mean, apparently they've also put out a record 392,341 penalty charge notices to drivers and motorcyclists who have dared to enter roads which have been closed off thanks to their low traffic neighbourhoods.
Indeed. These fines and this money-raising activity never stops. When it's taking your money, they're more aggressive than ever. But when it's delivering anything for that money, you find that you can't even have the lights on at night. That says everything, doesn't it? And if this Director of Climate at Lambeth was asked to account for what he's actually done in the year, it would be fascinating to see, what do we get back for this 100 and whatever thousand pounds it is that he's charging taxpayers.
And how soon before do you think that the sort of the dead hand of local government will reach into your abode and tell you that you can't have any lights on between certain hours? Like in the winter, you can only put your lights on between the hours of 7 and 10, and after that you have to put them all out.
Well, it might not be your council, but it might well be your energy company. The smart meter rollout is accelerating. They're putting huge amounts of pressure on people to get smart meters, even if they don't want them. And of course, we hear from Ed Miliband, we hear from Chris Stark, who's been placed in charge of what he called mission control for net zero. They always talk about demand management as a way that they'll meet net zero in the future. Well, demand management means spiking prices when you actually want to use your energy, like in the evening when you get back from work, and yet potentially lower prices, at 5 a.m. or 3 a.m. in the morning. But for many people, that simply won't work. It will just mean they get punished for living an ordinary life. And we'll see effective energy rationing. We should be pursuing a policy of energy abundance.
Absolutely.
Energy should be too cheap to meet it. We should have hundreds of nuclear power stations, small modular reactors, and large power stations around the country. This shouldn't be a problem. France has a very successful nuclear power fleet, and it has far lower electricity prices than we do. We have the most expensive electricity prices in the world because they've been pursuing all these green policies.
Yeah, it's absolute bonkers, isn't it? Completely mad. Harry, good to talk to you. Thanks very much indeed. Have a good Christmas. And don't switch the lights off. In fact, put more of them on. Put more on the Christmas tree and load it up.